There was a recent article from the Associated Press that when I saw the headline, I didn't even care about the story. I saw the headline and it just instantly pissed me off. You'd be surprised at how often that actually happens with me. But this headline, knowing what I know, knowing what's publicly available, this headline drove me up the walls because of how stupid it is and how wrong it is. And again, this is from the Associated Press. I'm going to read you the headline in just a moment, but it's not from Fox News. It's not from Newsmax. It's not from Breitbart or the Daily Caller. This is the Associated Press, one of the longest running independent outlets here in the United States, right? They're not left, they're not right, they're just news. Here's what they wrote in their headline. Trump's outsider cabinet picks are rapidly gaining support for confirmation. There is one word in there that pissed me off. Because if you take out that word, you've got a perfectly good headline. It should have said, Trump's cabinet picks are rapidly gaining support for confirmation. But instead, the Associated Press said Trump's outsider cabinet picks. Now again, I didn't give a crap about the content of the article because none of it matters. What matters is that headline perpetuating the myth that the people that Donald Trump is surrounding himself with are somehow outsiders. People that are going to come in and, as Republicans have told us this past week, shake things up. You know, we're tired of the status quo in Washington. We're tired of the deep state. We're going to drain the swamp by bringing in these outsiders. Let me tell you, the only possible way these people that Trump has picked to serve in his cabinet could even be considered outsiders is if you just consider the fact that they don't literally live inside Washington, D.C. More than a dozen of the people that Donald Trump has picked to be in his cabinet are billionaires with a B. 26 of them have net worths greater than $100 million. Some of them are former CEOs from the very industries that they're now being picked to oversee. That's not outsiders. You're picking people that are in the upper echelon of American society. That's as insider as you get. They may not have been brought up in Washington, D.C., but they have been flexing their political muscle through their money for decades. That's not an outsider. Can we stop classifying these people as such? Then look at some of these other so-called outsiders. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who is married to a Hollywood actress. If your last name is Kennedy and you can trace your lineage back to that political dynasty, you're not an outsider. You were literally born into American politics. Your name is ingrained in American politics, and the media has the audacity to say this is an outsider? Are you effing crazy? Tulsi Gabbard as the Director of National Intelligence, Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. Where did those people come from? Where are those outsiders from? Oh, that's right, the House and Senate. That's literally people from inside politics themselves. Like, that's not outsiders. Pete Hegseth, there you go. Here's a guy, he lived in New York. You know, he wasn't in the government. He had served in the military. That's an outsider, right, Farron? Oh, you mean the guy that hosted a show on the most watched cable news network in the country? The guy that was out there talking about American politics every day? Nope, that's not an outsider either, folks. That is an insider. Who else we got here? Kash Patel. Well, he served in Donald Trump's first administration. Again, that's not an outsider. You've already served in the government. Pam Bondi. She was the Attorney General of Florida. That's not an outsider. Linda McMahon at the Department of Education. She's a friggin' billionaire. None of these people are actual outsiders. Do you want to know what an outsider is? An outsider is somebody working a regular 9-to-5 job out there, maybe a manual labor job, maybe a construction worker, maybe a farmer. Those are outsiders. Those are people who actually understand the struggles of everyday working class people. Now, if Trump went out there and picked them, obviously we'd have some issues with these people not having any experience, but you would at least have people who understand what the average American goes through. Instead, it's millionaires and billionaires. Those are not outsiders. Those are the elite. You know, when Republicans say, we got to drain the swamp, what do you think the swamp is? What do you think this so-called deep state is? It's not, as I've said last week, it's not a few rogue people at the FBI monitoring conservative media. The deep state, the elite and powerful. It's the 1%ers who are funding politicians who pass legislation that only benefits the 1%ers. They don't have to be in the government. Hell, they don't even have to be in DC to be an insider. Because they could physically be in California, they could be in New York City, they could be in South Florida, but their money, the politicians they've bought, they're in DC. These are not outsiders. And it's going to continue to drive me insane when the media tries to categorize these people as such. We have never seen a cabinet with more insiders than what Donald Trump is coming into Washington, D.C. with today. Did you know that you might be missing out on wonderful content from me? I mean, you're here already because clearly you like what you see. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video, share them with your friends and family, but also follow me across the rest of the social media world. And it's not that hard to do. Whether it's X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, on every one of those platforms, you can find me at the username @FarronBalanced. Simple enough, right? So get on it. And if you don't feel like going to each one of those outlets individually, lucky for you, we have links in the description of this video to take you right to my pages across all of social media. So don't miss a minute. And while you're at it, make sure you're also subscribed to the Ring of Fire YouTube channel, which I have been hosting for many, many years now. We've got more than 1 million subscribers over there, and there is fresh content over there every single day of the week. So again, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to this channel, and while you're at it, go subscribe to Ring of Fire at youtube.com/The Ring of Fire and @FarronBalanced across every social media platform that, of course, is not considered just a far-right hellscape. Well, maybe Twitter is, but that's a story for a different day.